everybody. We're just going to give it a few minutes just so other people can join, but I'm so glad that you are here. I hope your Thursday is going all right so far. Okay, perfect. So we'll just give it a few more minutes and then I think we're going to be good, okay? So my name's Sydney, and this is my good old friend Devin over here, and we're part of the Weight Loss and Wellness Department here at MMC. First things first, we will have a giveaway at the end, and in order to be entered, we just need you to share the video. So the more shares, then probably the more chances you'll be entered in, so definitely do that. Also, if you have any questions along the way, just type them in the comments, and we will answer those at the end. Okay, so when we're wrapping things up, we'll be able to kind of review your questions. And then lastly, we are going to be referring to some handouts. So if you'd like to download these handouts, there will be a link in the comments, but you can also go to mmclinic.com/quarantine15. Also, before we kind of get in with our event, we just wanted to kind of describe what we do in the Weight Loss and Wellness Program. And so some things that are kind of included with that are going to be our weekly one-on-one counseling, behavioral counseling, we do physical activity recommendations or guidelines, which Devin's going to kind of give you more information on that in a second. We also do medical visits and then referrals for needed services. So those are things that we can kind of do in our Weight Loss and Wellness Program. So if you have questions or are interested, please feel free to contact us because we would love to kind of reach out and hear from you. Okay, so the setup for today's event, we're going to go over exercise, which she's going to take that over in a second. We're also going to kind of go over some nutrition tips. So tips for kind of boredom eating, which I think we're all doing right now, managing your environment, and then planning ahead. And then we're also going to just go over like stress management in general. And then after that, like I said, we'll wrap up questions, go over the giveaway, and kind of go from there. All right, so I will let Devin take it away with some exercise tips and tricks while you're at home.
Okay. Hi guys, I hope you're having a good Thursday. So there are many benefits to a regular exercise routine. Of course, the main one is strengthening your muscles, but it helps to maintain a healthy weight, helps to reduce your stress level, it helps you get better sleep, it strengthens your immune system and your brain function, and lots of other things. So the current recommendations for exercise are 150 minutes of moderate activity a week or 75 minutes of vigorous activity a week. So I know a lot of you are not really ready to go back to the gym yet, and I think that's completely fine. I think that you should do what you feel comfortable with there. If you're at home and wanting to increase your activity level, I'm going to offer you a few exercise suggestions today for exercises you can do at home. So the first one that I'm going to demonstrate is a squat. There are a couple of variations of squats that you can do. One of them is a wall squat. So for a wall squat, what you want to do is make sure your back is firmly against the wall behind you. And then you're going to lower yourself down into a chair position and hold this until you feel those muscles burning. So the important thing here is back firmly against the wall behind you. You don't want to lean forward. This is not correct form and it will create some problems for you. This is going to be a quadricep exercise mostly, but it's a good general lower body exercise. If you're doing that and that feels a little too easy for you, you're ready to step it up some, you can do a basic squat. Basic squats, you want to make sure your feet are in line with your shoulders, and you're just going to basically sit back like you're aiming for a chair behind you. So you want your knees to stay in line with your ankles, and you're going to squat back and stand up. So pretty easy motion, but important things are going to be knees in line with ankles and hips towards the back wall behind you instead of forward. So down and up. Next exercise I'm going to demonstrate is a tricep dip. Tricep dips are an exercise for the back of the arm. You're going to make sure that you have a chair that doesn't have wheels on it so you don't want it to roll out from under you. Hands facing your hips. You're going to push up into a position where you're holding your weight off the chair with your hands. Lower your hips down to where your arms make a 90-degree angle and press straight back up. So 90-degree angle of the arm and press in back up. If you want to make this exercise a little bit more challenging, you can straighten your legs out instead of keeping them bent. Next exercise is everybody's favorite, a plank. So plank has several different variations. The easier plank version is going to be to keep your knees on the ground And I say easier, but it's not really easy. You're still getting a good exercise out of it. So you're going to be in push-up position. Head, hips, feet is what you're looking for your points of reference. If this feels easy to you, then you can try elbow planks, which are going to just be elbows on the ground, pushing your knees up off the ground. You want to hold a straight line. If that doesn't feel quite challenging enough for you, you can go all the way up into a full plank. So those are just a few exercises that you can do without equipment at home. Some other exercises you can do at home, you would utilize a resistance band for. This is actually part of you guys' giveaway to share the video. So one of the exercises, actually this is my favorite personally, is a bicep curl. You want to stand on the band, make sure it's under your foot securely, arm at 90-degree angle, and back down. This is going to work the front part of your upper arm. Second exercise I'm doing with the resistant band today is going to be a tricep kickback. And this is also getting the back part of the upper arm. You're going to lean forward, keeping top part of your arm stable, not moving it, and lower part of your arm is kicking straight back behind you and back down. The next one is going to be a shoulder exercise. So making sure you got your band firmly under foot, arm at 90 degrees, pressing straight up and straight back down to 90 degrees. So goalpost arms is what you're looking for here. All right. So I am also going to give you a lot of us are sitting down more than normal right now. So I'm going to give you a hip stretch exercise for if you're in your chair a little bit more than usual. You want to cross ankle at the knee, slight pressure down on your knee, not much, and you're going to lean forward just until the point where you feel a good stretch across your hip. Doing that periodically through the day is a good way to not get excessive pain from sitting too long. So those are just a few ways that you can get moving more while without a gym. You can also do jumping jacks or trap push-ups against a wall or kitchen counter. You can go for a walk, dance around the house. You can ride bikes with your kids. So there's tons of ways that you can get moving and be more active. Just want to remember that activity can be fun and it's an important part of staying healthy.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to get her to catch up on her breath right now. That was a lot to kind of go over. Now I'm just going to kind of go over some nutrition tips during this time. And probably one of the biggest complaints that I've been getting from a lot of my patients is just they have noticed more boredom eating, more stress eating, and it's like, well, okay, what do we do? So tips for that, we always tell people you want to kind of, we call it mindful eating. So you want to kind of think about, okay, am I eating because I'm hungry? Am I eating because I'm bored? Am I eating because I'm stressed? And if it's some of the latter ones, we want to think about, okay, I need to redirect this behavior, and we want to do that with something that's very positive, so maybe that's going for a walk, learning a new language, maybe it's playing a game with your friends, family, just whatever it may be. You just want to kind of make sure you can recognize that behavior and then try to do something that's still positive, but without having to do any of that boredom eating or stress eating. So that's kind of a tip. You also want to eat super nutritious foods, right? So nutrient-dense foods. Things like cookies, candies, chips, they might give you a quick burst of energy, but then we crash. So they never satisfy that hunger. So things that we recommend are going to be things like protein. So maybe it's, a tuna packet. Fruits and veggies are always a good option, and then nuts or seeds. So those are kinds of foods that actually suppress hunger hormones and help you feel full and satisfied. So we want to make sure we get nutritious foods. Another thing that we've been recommending a lot of our patients to do during this time is cook healthful foods. Start learning how to cook or how to enjoy cooking. You have a lot more time on your hands, right? So maybe watch some YouTube videos. We're going to include a recipe in a second that has, the recipe's from a website that has a lot of good options. So maybe go there and just try it out. But get the whole family involved. Cooking at home saves you so much money in the long run, and you're going to be eating a lot healthful. Staying hydrated. So a lot of times people, when they come to me, they're not drinking enough water. And sometimes too, if we're dehydrated, it's going to negatively affect just like our mood and energy level. So you hear a lot of times, you need to drink 8 cups of water a day. So around 64 ounces. So if you're not doing that, I always always say start there, but ideally we do want to kind of get to half your body weight in ounces, unless you have like a medical condition that recommends you limit water. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, you're crazy, I can't drink that much. So I always tell people, try to find something that works for you. For some, it might be drinking out of a straw. For me, if you ever see me around the office, I have a huge jug, and it's a gallon, and it has time marks, so that really helps me. But, you know, sometimes people just have to set reminders on your phone. So just find what works for you, but definitely drink your water. And then last but not least, to avoid any kind of like stress or boredom eating, find that accountability partner. You need someone who's going to keep you on track. Maybe it's a friend who's also trying to be healthy and mindful about their habits. So just get them involved. It always helps if you have a little bit more support. So those are some tips and tricks kind of for stressful eating. Now a big one is managing your environment. So I always tell people, if you have unhealthy foods in the house, you're going to be a lot more likely to eat those, correct? So one of the best things is don't bring them into the house, right? You don't want to bring the cookies and the cakes and all that stuff in there, because then you're going to be more likely to have them. You can also, I tell people, hide them. So maybe it's like your kids, they require, or not require, but they want certain foods and you know they're not maybe the best. Put them up. Put them somewhere where you aren't likely to get them. So that's really helpful. You also want to make sure you have healthy snacks available. So anytime you go to the store, I always tell people, rinse and wash, cut up your fruits and veggies and keep them so that they're really easy to grab instead of like that snack cake or something else. So always have those on hand. And then another big one too is if you're trying to be healthy, you need to have some tough conversations with your friends and family of just ways that they can support you. Because I feel like a lot of times, like if you've had a bad day, someone's likely to bring you a cupcake, or they want to take you to dinner, you know. So just having those conversations of different ways that they can support you, that you still really appreciate, but then they also feel like they're contributing. And then last but not least, meal planning. A lot of people don't even know where to begin with meal plans. And what I tell people is think about, you know, you have your week, and I want you to kind of make what you're going to have for dinner, maybe Monday through Friday, maybe on the weekends it's different. But go ahead and lay that out. So A, you know what to get at the grocery store, but then also it keeps you on track. So always schedule out your meals or your meal times. That's really helpful. Simple meal prep could be something like cutting up and rinsing like your fruits and veggies and keeping those readily available. But also anytime you get meat from the store, try cooking it right then. So maybe it's like you bring home, you have a little bit more time after you went to the grocery store, go ahead and cook up a lot of chicken. If you don't want to use it right then, you can freeze some. I do that all the time with like ground turkey, because that way I can just cook it, I freeze it, and it's one less thing I have to think about whenever I'm ready to put together a meal. So you can do simple meal prep like that, or if you wanted to cook, we call it more kind of complex meal prep, and it's cooking like maybe it's all your dinners for one week, or maybe it's all your lunches for 1 week, and just one sitting. And we've included, so that's one of the handouts we've included, is that recipe. So like I said, if you go to mmclinic.com/quarantine15, you'll be able to find that recipe, and it's from skinnytaste.com. So there's that other website that I was recommending for a lot of good information, or just good recipes to kind of try. So those are some things, and remember, with meal planning, you save a lot of time, a lot of money, definitely a lot of money in the long run. And then if you just want to have more kind of information on tips and tricks, the eatright.org is a great place to go, and it has a great video on how to get started with meal prep. So those are just some things that we can do to kind of manage what we're eating right now, stress, boredom eating, all that good stuff. But like I said, if you have questions, please leave them in the comments, and we'll get back to those soon, okay? And now Devin's going to take it away with stress management during this time, because I think that's super heightened right now, right?
It is, of course. We're all feeling a lot of extra stress. And Sydney mentioned that one of the things we do when we're stressed is choose poor quality foods to make us feel comfortable. So, you know, macaroni and cheese is a comfort food, obviously not a healthy food. So I'm going to address the importance of stress management. And I think that everybody gets stressed from time to time, especially right now. The important thing for you guys to remember to do is not beat yourself up for feeling stressed, but work towards letting that stress go. So stress can wreak havoc impact on your health. I think we all know that. It also can make it really difficult to maintain or achieve a healthy weight. So I'm going to offer a few stress management suggestions. I'm going to start with my favorite, which is laughter. So laughter actually releases endorphins, which helps you to feel happy. It stimulates circulation and it relaxes your muscles. So the stimulating circulation and relaxing your muscles will reduce the physical effects of stress. I know that I personally get a little tension in my neck when I'm stressed out. So the physical effects of stress can cause more stress. So obviously we don't want to let it get to that point. So laughter's the best medicine, right? It's a saying for a reason. That's because it really does do a lot of really great things for your body. My favorite way to create a little laughter if I'm feeling stressed out is to watch a funny video online. So there's a lot of cute animal videos out there and stuff like that. Getting a better quality of sleep. So I talk about this on a really regular basis with most of my patients, is if you're not getting a good quality of sleep, how are you supposed to not feel stressed? If you're tired all day and you're having to do whatever it is you're having to do in the course of your day, of course you're going to feel more stressed out because you're tired. So better quality of sleep. I think it's important to set a routine around your sleep schedule. So maybe you go to bed at a specific time. I know we're mostly adults and giving ourselves a bedtime seems a little juvenile, but it really does help to establish a healthy sleep life. Maybe you limit your screen time around your bedtime. So no phone or TV or laptop 30 minutes before bed. That's going to give your body or your brain plenty of time to start relaxing so that you can get a good quality of sleep. And to get a better quality of sleep, increase your activity level. I've already given you a few exercises today that can help you do that. But if you're tired, physically tired, not just mentally tired, you're going to want to sleep. So better sleep is definitely going to help you manage stress. And then the other one, since I've already mentioned it a couple of times, is going to be exercise. So exercise is a good outlet to relieve some frustration. So maybe you're angry with a coworker and that's stressing you out. Going to the gym, not that I ever do that because I have a wonderful coworker. But maybe going and working out to relieve whatever frustration you're feeling is a good way to let that go instead of dwelling on it for a long time, which is going to create a cycle of stress if you're dwelling on something that happened earlier in the day. Work towards letting it go. Exercise also improves cognitive function, and if you're able to think a little bit better, you're able to handle stresses when they come your way a little bit more efficiently. And exercise also releases those endorphins, which the feel-good hormones. So we definitely want to do that. I think that the important conversation I normally have as it relates to stress with our patients is where it becomes an obstacle to your healthy weight success. So try to address it on the front end so that it's not slowing down metabolism, so that it's not causing you to choose poor quality of foods. There also is a handout on the website that Sydney gave you for some more stress management suggestions, but also please feel free to ask questions if you have any. I'm going to turn it back over to Sydney.
Yeah, so I think that kind of covers today's topic on just kind of how to manage that quarantine 15. So like I said, if you have any other questions about our program, please give us a call, email us, find us on Facebook, whatever, and we'd be happy to kind of help you. But we're also going to kind of go over some questions. Okay, so the first question is, I can't seem to motivate myself to meal plan. Any advice?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So when I first started meal prepping for myself personally, I hated it. It seemed so time consuming. But then I realized ultimately I'm saving myself time to not have to come home after work and cook. So I think thinking about how it is that you can save yourself time in the long run makes it something that you're more likely to do initially. I think also make it simple when you first get started. You don't have to make complex meals for meal prep. You can just make chicken and vegetables. You can freeze chicken. You can turn chicken into multiple things, right? You can have chicken and vegetables one night and you can have some of that same chicken for
on
a salad. Yeah, so you can definitely make it a little easier on yourself. I think the other thing for just motivation in general for whatever your health goal is to remember why you care about that goal.
Yep.
So we call it the big why. So what is your reason why you want to be healthy? And that kind of motivates you to do whatever it is you're struggling with motivation on.
Yeah.
Anything else on that?
No, I think she kind of definitely answered that really well. So I think that's perfect. The next question is, how many should you do?
Okay, so the answer to that is kind of a tricky one. It depends on your fitness level. So if you're beginning, maybe 3 rounds of 5 of each of those exercises is enough. You want to feel like you're exerting yourself, but not exhausting yourself. If you're a more advanced exerciser, maybe 5 sets of 15 is enough for you. So I think that you want to find that level of exertion is what you're looking for there. So really, it kind of depends on the individual.
Yep. Okay, the next question, what is the best way to get your spouse on board? And I love this because one of the things that we find it so difficult is when our patient comes in, they're trying to make changes, maybe someone at home is kind of not meaning to, but kind of hindering them a little bit with their success. And I think it goes back to kind of, it's not comfortable, but kind of having those tough conversations of maybe they aren't ready to start making those changes right now, but these are some ways that you can help me. So you can have conversations like that. But then I also think it's just being a good example.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
A lot of times, if you continue on with your journey trying to make changes, you're going to start seeing progress, right? And then also your spouse is going to notice that too, and they're going to be like, wait, what's kind of going on here? And then they're more likely to make those changes as well. So I say just kind of continue to do what you're doing. You're doing well, you're doing great, and just keep at it, because a lot of times they will come around.
Absolutely. A lot of times they will come around, and I think that Sydney's right. The tough conversation up front with what it is that you're wanting out of your health and your life is really important. It's important for your spouse to be on the same team with you about everything in life, right? But maybe explain to them, I care about the longevity of our happiness together, and I want to start getting healthy, and I would really like it if you did the same. So maybe lay out reasons for them why it's important to you, and if they're not interested in making those changes yet, lead by example. Maybe they'll come around eventually, but ultimately it's about your health.
Yeah, it's all about you. It's okay to be a little selfish in that sense.
Yeah.
The next question, or kind of saying, it says, really it's meal prep that I don't want to do. The planning isn't that hard, but reserving the time to prep the food is hard for you. And I get it.
Yeah, definitely.
It is. I mean, you have to think about it. Sometimes it can take, the more you do it, the more you get used to it, but up front, it can take several hours. And a lot of times people are like, I don't know if I have time to do that. That's just a lot of time out of my day. So I think it just kind of goes back to starting small.
Yeah.
As for me, I'm telling you, one of the best things is as soon as I get home, empty all my groceries, okay, my fruits and veggies, I know I need to wash those, cut them up, I can keep those in the fridge. So that's one less thing I have to do during the week. But then also just cooking up meat or sauteing some veggies. It doesn't take maybe 30 minutes, or depending on what you're cooking, of course. But then you can freeze some, and then later meals, if it was a recipe like you wanted to do spaghetti with zucchini noodles or something. You already have the meat cooked because you cooked it a long time ago, and it's frozen. So that's just something that you can do. Yeah. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I have to carve out a whole day in order to do this. Just start small until you get comfortable with that.
I think that one of the other things that I always talk to patients about along these lines is to think about how much time you're spending throughout your week cooking dinners when you get home from work. And are you really feeling interested in cooking dinner when you're tired after work? So maybe it's, add up the hours you spend in the week, and maybe you spend a lot less than that doing meal prep. One of the things I personally do is to do my other household chores while I'm meal prepping, so that I'm not just spending all of that time doing meal prep. I'm getting, my laundry done, my dishes done, or, whatever, reading a book even. So spend that time cooking, but also doing other things, so it doesn't feel like you're spending so much time just meal prepping.
Yeah. Another one was having trouble sleeping during this COVID and everything kind of going on, right? I feel like that does have a lot more stressors that kind of come with it, and so trying to kind of rest and get good sleep, I feel like is hard right now. But I think it kind of goes back to some of the things that you're kind of saying of creating a good sleep environment. There are different things like apps on your phone that are like meditation.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Things like that could help.
Yes.
So setting the boundaries as far as when you're going to bed, creating a good environment, and then also maybe trying some meditation, sleeping devices, something like that.
Listening to relaxing music before you go to sleep at night is another good way to kind of calm your brain. So I think that if there's something specific stressing you out about COVID, that maybe you have a conversation with a friend about it earlier in the day, so you can kind of get that worry off of your mind. But creating an environment that's really designed for sleep, so making sure that relaxing music, no lights in the room, shut your TV and your computer and your phone off, and it's creating that routine. think addressing the stress earlier in the day is going to be a way that you can give yourself better quality of sleep.
For sure, for sure. Okay, let's see the next one. Best things to eat when going out to eat. So I always tell people, anytime you're planning a meal, think about your protein and then think about your veggies. So if you can get any kind of like lean meat, so like maybe it's chicken, maybe it's fish, turkey, you want to get that grilled or baked, so if that's an option, that's always great because that'll help you feel full and satisfied. And then veggies, maybe it's a side salad. And if you're worried about the dressing, hey, take some with you. I do that all the time.
I do too.
So you can do salads, you can do whatever kind of side veggies they have. Luckily, if you go out to eat and you're sitting down at a restaurant, they should have some protein options and then some good veggie options too. So those are probably going to be some of the best things. Fast food, I always tell people look up the nutrition information before you go. So look online so you kind of know what to expect. But even fast food has some maybe salads or maybe they have grilled chicken nuggets or things like that that are going to be better than obviously that double quarter hamburger or whatever all the things. So those are kind of my go-tos when dining out.
A few other dining out suggestions that I have, like Cindy said, look up the menu before you go. Even if it's not fast food, even if it's a sit-down restaurant, look up the menu online before you go. Almost every restaurant has their menu online these days. I think that really helps you to make a healthier choice. If you're not looking at all the delicious pictures and the menu, you already know what you're going to get. It's easier to choose something healthier. I think also maybe talking to your server about how can I make this dish a little bit healthier? Can we leave the butter off of these vegetables? Can we substitute the sauce on this for something healthier? So clear is better than creamy. Start with something green instead of an appetizer. Make sure you drink your water, so don't drink your calories in restaurants. Maybe ask for a to-go box because restaurant serving sizes are normally pretty big, so maybe you take part of it home for a separate meal. And then the other thing that I always suggest is to order first. So humans are very groupthink mentality, and it's safer if you act like the other humans, so we try to be like the other people that we're around. If you order first and order a grilled chicken salad, you're more likely to stick to that as opposed to everybody before you ordering something like burger and fries and nachos and etc. You're going to be persuaded by what they're choosing. So just a few dining out suggestions there.
Yeah, okay, perfect. The next one's recommendations for reheating frozen meat. If you can, ideally, thawing it out in the fridge the night before is going to be probably one of the better methods. But, I mean, microwaving, defrosting, in that sense.
Putting it on a low setting in the oven also works, so putting it on 300 and putting it in the oven for a little while. I think the best way, though, like Sydney said, is to plan out what you're going to have for dinner the night before so you can at least put it in the fridge and let it.
Yeah, and make sure with kind of thawing out meat, you don't want to have any kind of produce or anything underneath it. Just let it be just that meat on like the bottom shelf or something. Another thing, you can run it, so running water, that's another way to kind of thaw meat. So you can always do that, but best method is going to be thawing it out in the refrigerator the night before, so. We have one more question, and then, I'm sorry if we missed a few, but we have one more. It says, I lost weight, and then the past year I put some back on. I'm having a scale aversion. Any advice for getting back on this scale? First of all, the fact that you're able to lose weight, that is awesome. That's huge. You know, we understand that losing weight, super, super difficult. So the fact that you did that is amazing. And know too, that as you lose weight, your body wants you to gain that weight back. So it actually releases hormones that want you to gain that weight back. So it is hard to keep the weight off. So both of those things, very, very, very common.
Yes, absolutely.
What would you say as far as getting back on the scale?
So I think that the important thing there to do is to be nice to yourself about it. The scale is not the only measure of your success. So how are your jeans fitting? Or maybe you want to take some pictures of yourself once a week and measure how you look week to week for weight loss success. You don't have to get back on that scale.
Yeah.
Obviously it is a measure, but it's not the only measure. So you can do, get a tape measure and measure around your waist each week if you wanted to.
Yeah. I always tell people it's not about the number on the scale. It's more about what's happening internally, how you're feeling, how you're thinking, all those sort of things that really measure your success too. Okay?
But if you really wanted to get back on the scale as far as a measure of your success, like I said, not the only measure, definitely use some of the others, but if you're really wanting to get back on that scale just out of curiosity, I would say don't weigh yourself more than once a week, so you don't have to weigh yourself daily. That can be very discouraging as well. or maybe once every other week. You don't have to wait often for that.
Yeah. Okay, so once again, we thank you so much for just joining. We're sorry if we missed any questions. We will try to address them in future posts. But we hope this is a new thing for us, so we hope you did okay and we hope you enjoyed it. But seriously, just please reach out to us with any other questions, concerns. One last thing, the giveaway.
Yeah.
Almost forgot that. So with the giveaway, we have just a few things. So remember, if you shared this, you're going to be entered.
We have a couple of boxes of protein bars.
And these are some that we sell kind of in-house. So a lot of our patients really, really like them. So we have that in there.
We have one of the resistance bands that I used for demonstrations today. Very portable, easy to toss in your purse or a suitcase if you travel a lot. And a cookbook.
Yep, and it's one that our clinic kind of put together over the years. So those are some things.
And a bag.
Yep, and a lovely bag too. So just share. We'll allow 24 hours for people to kind of share the post, and then we will draw a winner. Okay. So I'm sorry if you see me over all your Facebook feed for a little bit. But thanks again. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll do more of these. Okay. All right. Have a great day. Bye.